Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite channel, and I would like to take you straight into this purported William Ruto's headache. Remember, after the inauguration ceremony that was on the 13th of September 2022, William Samoei Ruto hit the ground with a lot of zeal, and the first thing that William Samoei Ruto did was to fulfill the pledge for the courts by appointing the 6 judges that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta had rejected in the 40-judge list. The list of those judges who are to be appointed into or to be enrolled into the Court of Appeal level. So after election, remember, after election, there is always a time for rewarding lieutenants. By lieutenants, I mean the likes of Moses Kuria, the likes of Aisha Jumwa, and many other people within the Kenya Kwanza fraternity. So because the Kenya Kwanza formed the government, the expectation is that William Samoei Ruto will source for cabinet secretaries from the Kenya Kwanza umbrella and any other proposal by the Kenya Kwanza team. One of those Kenya Kwanza team who are likely to benefit from the Kenya Kwanza is Aisha Jumwa. Aisha Jumwa has been a die-hard supporter of William Ruto from 2017. That is now before decamping from ODM. You remember previously, he was a die-hard supporter of Raila Amolo Odinga, but then decided to join William Samoei Ruto. So in 2002, soon after Rainbow Coalition came into power, Kibaki had to reward those lieutenants, the people who campaigned for him. And one of those people who were rewarded was 1, Kalonzo Musyoka, 2, Raila Amolo Odinga, and a host of other leaders, including Murungaru, Kiraitu Murungi, and other leaders. So when Uhuru got into power, we also saw the same trend, and there were people who were rewarded. There are people who benefited from that winning of Jubilee coalition government. So in 2007, one of the main reasons for a major fallout between Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga was when Raila decided to give Mudavadi the Deputy Prime Minister state slot instead of William Samoei Ruto. So after the swearing in ceremony, it was almost clear, and with the morale that William Samoei Ruto, or the zeal that William Samoei Ruto took over government, the expectations of a common mwananchi was that the following day, cabinet ministers would be appointed and that the list would be subjected to the parliament for approval. But what happened? Until date, William Samoei Ruto has not been able to appoint the list. This can only be attributed to the fact that there will be a growing rebellion soon after this list is made public. There are people who will feel shortchanged. There are those people who will feel that they were given, there are communities that will feel that they have been given fewer seats as opposed to the promise that they were given. If you look at the Mount Kenya fraternity, for instance, was given 40%. That was a promise. A 40% would be given to Mount Kenya. William Samoei Ruto comes from the Rift Valley. The expectation is that majority of the cabinet slots will come from Rift Valley. Western Kenya were promised 30% of the government positions. Now, if 40% is given to the Mount Kenya, 30% given to Rift Valley, we are left with 30%. No, if 40% is given to Mount Kenya, 30% is given to Western Kenya, we will be left with 30% of the government positions. Now take a look at Rift Valley, take a look at coast, take a look at other regions. Where do you expect this 30% will go to? I expect 20% to go to Rift Valley. But what about the rest of the regions? Should that arrangement be the case in this nomination list? So Jubilee ministers, the ministers have been serving under Jubilee government, have been keenly waiting for their successors. Some of them are said to have written their handover letters, are waiting to hand over to the ministers or the cabinet secretaries who will be nominated. It is alleged that there is already someone who is in place to replace Matiang'i, and it's none other than Oletito, Olemitito. That Olemitito is the one who is supposed to replace Matiang'i. A host of other leaders have been fronted, and in some of those letters that are circulating online, those letters have circulated online, and we've seen even the likes of Purity Ngirishi in those letters to having been one of those people who have been awarded a cabinet slot. But the question that I ask myself, if Purity Ngirishi is to be given that seat, then why is it so? If you ask me that question, I'll tell you this. Purity Ngirishi always stood with William Samoei Ruto from the day of the handshake. And Purity Ngirishi is the reason why UDA dominated Kirinyaga County. It is not Anne Waiguru per se, but Purity Ngirishi is the person who played a critical role in making sure that UDA was the party to beat within Kirinyaga County. So that list, Purity Ngirishi was available in the list. I think one of the reasons is that the moment William Samoei Ruto was given that certificate by Chebukati, Purity Ngirishi congratulated William Samoei Ruto. I think that only shown that she was still with William Samoei Ruto. So this is the reason why we think that William Samoei Ruto is getting it rough, trying to come up with a valid list. A list will be adopted by the Kenya Kwanza team, a list that will not cause divisions among the Kenya Kwanza members, because literally everybody is expecting to be rewarded a slot within the cabinet secretary. You know, controlling a ministry is one of the things that each and every politician would want to have ability to control a ministry. But you see, the seats that have been there are less than 26. Those are the cabinet seats that are available, less than 26. But the people that supported William Samoei Ruto in terms of leadership are many. You know, even the governor candidate for UDA, Hassan Omar, is expected to be rewarded with a cabinet seat. That's a house of so many people. But then William Samoei Ruto will have to give only the ones who are allowed by law. These days, there is nothing like an assistant minister. There's nothing like an assistant minister. So that's why you find that it is a nightmare trying to come up with that list. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wind up there, but let's wait for the president to give us a list, because we believe that is the beginning of trouble for the Kenya Kwanza team. We don't expect troubles to be there, but there will be those people who will feel shortchanged, those communities who will feel that we were given few seats as opposed to what we were promised. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to wind up there, but I'd like to urge you to subscribe to our channel, to give us a thumbs up and hit the notification bell, so that every time we upload videos, you will always become the first person to get notified. Now, until we meet again, I'd like to urge you to stay safe and stay blessed.